Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our CUGO webinar series.
大家晚上好，欢迎大家继续来收看我们的耀中耀华的升学指导系列讲座。
My name is John Liu, and I'm really happy to be with my colleague Coco, and we're excited again tonight to bring you our next episode of our webinar, really exploring within this 1 hour all the great opportunities of universities in Europe.
非常高兴，然后我是 Coco，然后今天我会和 John 一起带来我们对欧洲的接下来1个小时对欧洲的一些大学的访谈和介绍。
This evening, you have a chance to learn about amazing universities and career opportunities in Italy, France, and the Netherlands.
那这3个欧洲的国家的学校主要是来自于意大利，还有荷兰，还有法国这3个学校。
And also, you have a chance to meet 3 of our other CUGO colleagues from across our YCYW network.
大家也会见到来自我们耀中、耀华各个其他的校区的升学指导老师。
I think what makes our CUGO program very outstanding within our foundation is that we actually have 30 counselors across our network here to support you beyond just your CUGOs at your campus.
所以就是除了大家本校的升学指导老师之外，耀中、耀华有强大的升学指导网络。那总共有30多位升学指导老师，然后一起支持大家的升学。
So you have a chance first to meet Mr. Philip Lee, and then you have a chance to meet Miss Sherry Pai, and then lastly our counselor, Miss Prachi Gupta.
那我们的采访分别会由来自浦西校区的菲利普里老师，还有来自耀华同乡的 Sherry 老师，以及我们重庆耀中的 Prachi 老师三位带来的这个采访。
And thank you always for being such an active part about this webinar and giving us your questions. We have asked your questions to all of our guests today. But also, just as a reminder, if you have any other questions throughout the webinar, put them in the chat functions, whether on PolyV or on WeChat.
我们的采访的问题都是来自于大家非常关心的一些问题的。那么同时，今天晚上在采访的过程当中，如果大家有任何的问题，可以及时的在我们的微信平台还有我们的 PolyV 的平台去提出。
So, Coco, why don't we start with just going to Phil first, as he's going to be able to talk and share with us about Bocconi University in Italy.
OK，那我们首先是由菲利普李老师带来的，由他对意大利的博科尼大学的采访。那欢迎大家来收看。
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our monthly CUGO webinar. My name is Philip Lee. I am the head of CUGO at Shanghai Puxi. This evening, we have Summer Wu from the University of Bocconi, who is from the Guidance and Recruitment Officer. She's the country manager for Greater China. And our webinar today will be talking about the programs that are at the University of Bocconi and would it be a potential for your child to study in Italy and study specifically at the University of Bocconi. So without further ado, I will let Summer introduce herself. Hi, Summer.
Hi, thanks, Phil. Hi, everybody. My name is Summer. I'm responsible for the market in China, and I actually join your college fair every year. So I have been in touch with many students' parents from YCIS. I'm very glad to have this opportunity to share information about studying in Italy and also at Bocconi University. Thank you.
Thank you. So our first question tonight, why is Italy a great destination for international students from China to study for their undergraduate degree?
So talking about studying in Italy, maybe it won't be an option for many parents and students, especially in China. When you think about Italy, it's always a place to travel, as a tourism. There are so many good places to visit, like Florence, like Rome, Venice, all the romantic and beautiful cities in Italy. And also the food, Italian food, right? But actually, our university is located in the city center of Milan. I would say Milan is a very good place to stay and also for work or to live as a person. Because Milan is a very strategic location in Europe. It's a hub of Europe, so it has a lot of international companies. There are also many universities located in the city, so you will be able to meet many international students when you are studying in Italy. And also economically, I think Milan is the best in Italy. So which means you have higher chance to get a better paid job in Milan if you want to stay in Italy. And also, I want to say the education quality in Italy is quite high. If you're thinking the first university actually comes from Italy, the Bologna University, so over 1,000 years.
Yes.
So I would say the higher education starts from Italy. The quality is always very good and the reputation is also very good. So usually the universities in Italy can be international recognized as a good university. So why not to think about Italy as a choice, especially Bocconi is in the vibrant city of Milan, and you will have a lot of fun, not only study, but also, enjoy the city. Yeah.
That's a great transition because I was going to ask you what makes Bocconi unique compared to other Italian universities. Are there any distinctive tracks or interdisciplinary opportunities that students might value?
Yeah. I mean, Bocconi is very special in Italy because, the official language of Italian universities, they are Italian. So most of the university, they're taught in Italian. But Bocconi is a very international university. I would say the most international university in Italy. It's over 120 years old, and also we are very specialized. So it's not a comprehensive university. We only specialize in certain fields. We are the first university offer degrees in economics. And also you can see we have a very big international student body. So in total, we have 15,000 students and 5,000 are international students. So even like students from China, they go to Bocconi, they won't feel like lonely because they can always find students like similar to their case and study at Bocconi. And if you see the statistics we recently have is like the top 5 nationalities. We have France, UK, Germany, Turkey, and USA. So, it's very international. This vibe, I think, is very different from other Italian universities. And the course is fully taught in English. So I think this makes us very different from other Italian universities. Yeah.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit more about any kind of special opportunities like research projects, internships? I see you've already talked a little bit about the study abroad opportunities, but could you go into a little bit more detail about any unique opportunities that students are able to experience? These could be academic or just personal development.
Yes, Bocconi, we are mostly specialized in social sciences, like finance, economics, political science. We have AI, computer science, and so on. So we don't have so many subjects provided at Bocconi, but we are not, many people talking about Bocconi, they say, okay, Bocconi is the top business school in Europe, but we are also a research university. So students will be able to do research at the university. If you see, we have the first number of research grants received from the European Union. So we also have a master and PhD programs taught in English as well. So if the student want to stay and, have the full package and looking for an academic pathway, it could be possible at Bocconi University. So this is something I think different from some other, business schools only. Like we have a big undergraduate and then smaller master and then even smaller PhD. So it's a little bit different from some other business schools, which they may focus on master onwards. So this makes us very different from other business schools. And also our programs, so this is a list of the programs we have. You can also see We have, even though for management or for finance, we try to, combine a few different topics together. So even the students go to one program, they will be able to, study not only one subject, but also combine, different subjects together to have the interdisciplinary study. For example, very interesting one, the economic management for art, culture, and communication. So this is for students who are passionate about art, culture, but they don't want to become an artist. They can also study economics management at the same time. So we have this setting for our students, not to be 100% specialized in one topics, but also, to benefit from our whole majors, like the majors available, like they can experience also other topics as well. And also within the 3 years, we allow students to do electives, internship or exchange program in the last year. So they are not only study in Milan all the time, they have the opportunity to go abroad. Like on average, I think our students during their bachelor, they travel to two or more than two different countries for different projects. Yeah, so like the partner universities with Bocconi, we have over 280. Now I think it's 290. So students can really find a partner university in different countries, like in Africa, in Latin America, in China, in Japan, in Singapore. So they can choose one semester to go to that places and to experience different cultures. Or they can even do internship abroad. So they have the opportunity to do all of these in the last year. And the first 2 second years, they have to focus on their study for sure. Yeah.
So it's a 3-year program, not a 4-year program.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Italian education system is 1 year shorter than the normal like US or China system.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if a student, let's say they were studying, so I saw the programs, if they're studying
Mm.
political science, but they
Mhm.
also wanted to maybe like, I don't know if it's a minor or double major in like you were saying, business and art, culture, is that possible?
We don't officially like have minor these options, but as I said, in the last year, they can choose elective courses and they
I
can
see.
choose any course we offered in the university, regardless of the major. So they can do their own minor in the last year, if they want. And also we allow students to switch to different topics, go to the master level,
I see.
because we have a quite big number of students like they stay for master afterwards. It's a 2 year master program, so student can easily switch to other topics if they want to combine different topics for their the higher education. Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
The next question I want to ask about is scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you, like you said, you have a big international student population. Of the total
Yes.
university, about a third is international students, and undergraduate,
Mm.
it's over 50%. So are there scholarships available for international students, and how can they apply for these scholarships?
Yeah, actually, Bocconi is not for profit. We are a private university, so Mr. Bocconi is our founder, but we are not for profit. So we every year the university will invest a lot on the scholarship, financial aid for
Mm,
our students, regardless of the nationality. So no matter you are Italian student or international students, you have the equal opportunity to get financial aid or scholarship, like merit-based scholarship from our university. Like you can see 1/3 of the student body actually they receive different type of financial aid from our university. Um, and we have merit-based scholarship and also need-based scholarship. But on top of that, I have to mention, like maybe to your student, our tuition fee is not even high, because the undergraduate program is only 16,700 euro
wow.
per year. maybe it's lower than your high school fee.
And that's for
But
all students, right? There's no like
yeah, for all
local or
students.
international. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not even a high tuition fee. But of course, if the student need financial aid because of the economic situation, of course, after the student gets admitted, they can apply for the need-based scholarship to submit an additional scholarship to mention their family income, and we will evaluate the family income of the student and decide to give if we want to give him or her like a discount on the tuition fee, or it's a full tuition fee. It's up to 100%. And also sometimes including housing and living expenses. So it depends on the situation of the family. And for undergraduate level, unfortunately, we don't have so many merit-based scholarship for the undergraduate students. We do have one for women who want to study the STEM subjects. So this is a merit one, and also for some extremely talented students, we have a limited number of merit-based award. So for undergraduate level, I would say in general, the most of students will get financial aid if they want the scholarship. Yeah.
I see. So the majority of students for undergraduate will get need-based scholarships, but there's a very limited amount for merit-based, specifically for more for women who are the women awards, right? Studying in finance.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thanks for
But
letting
for
us know.
master level, there are more merit-based scholarship, and also for merit-based scholarship, it's automatically give, so you don't need to apply for another application.
I see.
It's just naturally give to the students when they get the offer.
Yes. So basically, as part of their application, they're already, in essence,
Consider.
applying for a scholarship.
Yeah.
Moving on to kind of the admissions requirement. What is the academic profile, and are there any non-academic qualities that Bocconi looks for in a competitive applicant? So non-academic being like extracurriculars or a personal statement or maybe even an interview. And how does kind of Bocconi weigh whether a student is a competitive applicant?
Bocconi's application actually is quite straightforward. So it's mostly focused on the scores. I know some other countries may require like personal statement, like resume and so on. But at Bocconi, we only look at two elements. One is a high school transcript from grade 10 and 11th. And the other one is the selection test. So the selection test can be Bocconi test, which is online, or SAT or ACT test. Students don't need to do all of the three tests, but only choose one of the tests before they submit the application. So basically, when the student want to apply Bocconi, they have to prepare the transcript and also the test score. They have to be ready. They can, like, especially for the test score, they cannot submit later when they complete the application. Actually, they cannot complete the application if they don't have the SAT or Bocconi test score. Yeah.
Okay, so for so for our students, because for YCIS we do IB and YWIS the students take A level. Would they apply after their exam results come out, or they would apply, they could apply before with their predicted grade?
Yes, usually students start the application before at the beginning of the last year actually, so they don't have the final score of IB. That's why we only require transcript from grade 10 and 11th.
I see.
We will not evaluate the final IB score. It's for us, it's an unconditional offer for the IB student. Of course, in the end, students have to present IBDP, so they have to pass all the exams, but we will not go back to evaluate the IB final exams.
So Summer, I know that Bocconi has a few joint degree programs like the World Bachelor's in Business. Could you share a little bit about that program and any other programs that they have with other universities?
Yes, I know what Bachelor in Business is not getting very popular among the high schools. It's very fascinating programs. We are part of this. We are also very happy to be part of this unique program. So, what Bachelor is a 3-year, 4-year, 3-degree programs. Students will have to study the first year in the U.S. With University of Southern California in Los Angeles. And the second year, the whole class will move to Hong Kong with Hong Kong UST, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. And the third year, the whole class will move again to Europe, to Bocconi University. So the first 3 years, they study in 3 different countries. And the last year, they can choose one of the 3 universities to go back to finish their bachelor study. And in the end, each university will give the student a degree. It's a full degree as the same as other 4-year, 3-year university students in that university. So it's very unique because it's not just like an exchange program, it's degree program. So
Yes.
in the end, student will have 3 bachelor degrees in hands. But of course, to apply to this program, it's very competitive. It's a selective program.
I can
And
imagine.
also there are more documents required for the application. It's like a purely US application for this program. So students have to apply through Common App to find USC, and then there are parallel the program called World Bachelor in Business, and you have to select this one specifically to apply for this one.
I see. So for this program, they wouldn't go through Bocconi's website, but they would apply through Common App under USC, but apply specifically for the World Bachelor in Business.
Yes, yes. And we also have another double degree program. If the students are more interested in studying in Europe, we have a double degree with HEC. It's the first undergraduate program of HEC because they are usually starting from master level. But now they have a collaboration with Bocconi University since 2 years ago. It's a pretty new program. We don't have a graduation class yet. But it's very interesting because it's a 1.5 years at Bocconi in Milan, and the second 1.5 years it's in Paris. So Milan and Paris, the both the most romantic place to study. For this program, students can only apply through Bocconi website. So it's similar to other programs application, but on top of that, we will also ask for motivational letter, resume, and there's a video interview, but it's like recording through a platform. So
The last question I wanted to talk about is, nowadays I think students and parents especially are with so much, different things happening globally, a lot of political events. Parents and students are now placing a higher value on employability after they graduate from university. So for non-EU students, kind of what are the typical options after graduation in terms of being able to stay in Italy? Let's say they do go to Bocconi for 3 years and they love it. Is it possible for them to stay, and how easy or difficult it is for them to get a work visa, or even potentially doing internships? Will they need like a special visa to do internships while they're at Bocconi?
It's a very good question. Actually, it's quite important to students who come to study at Bocconi because eventually the student have to find a job after the degree. I would say Bocconi is very strong in career placement. If you look at the statistics we have here, like almost everybody has a job after graduation. And also we have a big student body actually working outside of Italy after the program. because we have a lot of international students, and even for Italian students, they are not necessarily to stay in Italy forever, right? So they also have the chance to go to other countries to work. Because Bocconi also have very international network for employment. We have over 4,000 companies, partners, not only in Italy, but also in different countries, like in the US, in Singapore, in Middle East, in UK. So when our students get into our program, they will be able to do internships already in different countries. So it's for some students, it's very naturally like they get a return offer after internship in Italy or in other countries with an internship job. So that's why we have a very good number of students who get a job offer after graduate from school in different countries. That's why, how this stats comes out. And if the students want to stay in Italy, for sure, they will be able to extend 1 year for the job searching. So during this year, they can do whatever they want, and they can do job, they can just for fun to have a gap year. But officially, they can extend their visa for 1 year. But I have to say the majority of the students before graduation, they already has a job in hands. So for our students, I don't think it's a very big problem. If they want to stay in Europe for a while, they can find a job.
Thank you so
Okay.
much for your time,
Thank
Summer.
you.
It was
Have a
great
good
chatting
day.
with you.
培，我现在是在耀华同乡校区，然后目前是在做声导。那感谢各位家长跟同学们今天有时间来参加我们的声导讲座。今天我们重点会介绍一下法国的高等商学院。那现在我们请张老师开始可以正式介绍了。
好的，谢谢帅老师。各位老师、同学、家长，大家好！今天特别开心能有这个机会呢，为耀中耀华的同学介绍法国IESEG高等商学院。稍后呢，会以聊天的方式呢，带大家全面认识IESEG这所学校，看看这所具有学术实力、国际视野和人文关怀的学府，能否成为大家理想留学的选择。过程中，如果大家有任何疑问呢，我们之后也会安排问答环节，再做深入交流。IESEG 这个学校呢，这个名字呢是法语的缩写，叫 Institut Économique Scientifique et Management， 所以它这个呢就是大家会连读，叫 IESEG 这个商学院。那选择法国留学呢，我们首先呢先聊聊为什么选择法国。选择留学目的地时呢，教育质量、发展机遇、生活体验和经济成本因素呢，都是大家重点考量的核心。而法国之所以成为全球学子的热门选择，正是因为它在这些维度上均展示出显著的优势。首先呢，我们看一下国家实力。法国呢是世界级经济强国，第7大经济体，国土面积也是欧盟最大的国家，这为学生提供了广阔的发展平台。作为全球重要的经济体，法国的经济实力雄厚，产业体系完善，在多个行业领域保持着全球领先地位。法国也是国际治理的核心参与者，联合国科教文组织、国际刑警组织、经合组织、欧洲议会等众多国际重要的组织。总部都设在这里，这意味着同学们在法国留学期间呢，有机会接触到更前沿的国际动态和资源。除了经济与国际地位呢，法国最值得称道的还是它强大的科研实力，这也是法国高等教育质量的核心保障。法国呢，名副其实的科研强国，科研支出呢占 GDP 的2.47%，拥有一批世界顶级的大型科研机构。其中呢，法国国家科学研究中心 CNRS 呢是全国的第2大研究机构，与国家健康与医学研究院呢这些机构呢构成了法国科研的坚实骨架。而科研实力的核心呢，在于人才的培养与产出。法国是孕育顶尖科学家的摇篮，历史上诞生了78位诺贝尔奖获得者和14位菲尔兹奖获得者。在诺贝尔这个奖数，全球的排名呢为第4，菲尔兹奖获得者 人数呢是位居世界第2。这样的科研底蕴呢，让法国的高校始终保持着前沿的学术事业，也能让同学们在学习中接触到最先进的科研方法和理念。同时，法国也是全球学子向往的留学胜地，它是世界第7大留学目的地国，吸引着有44.35万国际学生前来深造，更在国际博士生接待领域呢位居全球第3，成为科研人才汇聚的高地。对于同学们来说呢，这意味着你将身处一个多元文化、学术氛围浓厚的环境中呢，与来自世界各地的优秀人才交流互鉴，拓宽国际视野。这里呢，我给大家总结了法国留学的10大核心理由。除了前面提到过的法国综合实力和科研能力，法国还拥有极具吸引力的学费标准和生活成本。法国绝大多数的公立大学呢实行免费教育，而顶尖的精英商学院和工程师学院呢，每年的学费也仅在0.6到1.5万欧元之间。此外呢，具有1年以上的居留签证的学生呢，还可以享有法国社会的高福利待遇，例如房屋补贴、医疗保险、交通卡打折、博物馆免费参观等政策。其次，法国提供了贴合学生需求的优质高等教育，其教育体系并非固化的统一模式，而是注重个性化培养。学校会根据学生的专业方向、职业规划乃至个人潜力呢，灵活调整课程设置与教学方法。例如法国有学徒制教育、优秀运动员特殊学制、艺术家培养计划、创业计划学制等等。再者呢，法国汇聚了众多国际顶尖企业，欧莱雅、空客、LVMH、米其林等全球知名企业的总部或核心运营中心居在法国，形成了强大的产业集群。这意味着学生在留学期间有机会通过实习、企业合作项目、行业讲座等形式，近距离呢，和国际企业的运营，比较近距离的以国际企业和运营模式的相互沟通，积累呢宝贵的实践经验，为学生毕业后呢就业搭建了优质的桥梁。法国是中国欧盟内第3大贸易伙伴，中国是对法投资额最大的亚洲国家。从企业数量上看呢，法国是在华投资最多的欧洲国家。法国在华拥有2000多家公司，员工总数呢超过了3万。不对，是30万。接下来呢，那我们就看一下我们IESEG高等商学院的核心实力。作为一所拥有3重国际顶级认证 ACSB、ANBA 的认证的商学院呢，我们学校的学术水准得到了全球公认。目前呢，学校拥有8900名在读学生，19000余名的毕业生，形成了庞大而活跃的全球校友网络。我们的师资力量更是堪称一流，222名常驻教授呢，来自于56个不同的国家，而且100%拥有博士学位，81%为国际师资。多元文化呢背景的教学团队呢，能给您带来全球化的学术视野。在合作资源方面呢，我们与75个国家的342所高校建立了交换合作关系，与2500家企业保持深度合作，每年有1600余名的学生参与海外学术交换。这些资源呢，将为你在求学之路呢提供无限的可能。那目前呢，在中国大陆及港澳台地区，IESEG已与31所顶尖大学建立了合作关系。这份名单呢，涵盖了如复旦大学、中国人民大学、上海交通大学、香港大学、国立台湾大学等众多一流学府。从这些合作大学的级别，大家不难看出IESEG所构建的国际合作网络质量。现在呢，我们再看一下IESEG的全球排名情况。因为我们是一所精英商学院，不是综合大学，所以目前学校不在世界大学综合排名的榜单中。但是每年英国金融时报、QS、上海软科都会对专业硕士进行排名。IESEG呢，在这些排名中成绩还是很棒的。例如金融硕士全球 Top 15，管理学硕士呢全球第26，市场营销全球第33，数据分析硕士呢全球第61，工商管理硕士全球第76，这是在不同名榜单当中的优秀成绩。IESEG 呢在法国商学院中排名是在第6、第9，也是属于法国第一梯队的商学院，精英商学院。在全欧洲的排名为47。昨天应该是前2天刚刚公布的这个最新排名呢，仍然是处于欧洲前50之内的商学院。接下来呢，我们看一下国际化的体验。这个国际体验呢是IESEG最耀眼的标签之一。我们拥有1500多名国际学生，学生群体呢涵盖了100多个国籍，81%的全职教师来自于56个国家，多元文化在这里碰撞交流，让你足不出户就能感受到世界的多彩。更有遍布75个国家342所合作高校，每年超出1600多名的学生参与海外学术交换项目。你可以亲身体验不同国家的教育模式，拓宽国际视野，构建全球人脉网络。而毕业后呢，超过了20%的年轻毕业生都能顺利开启海外职业生涯，让你的未来拥有更多的发展元素。IESEG 呢，在法国的里尔和巴黎设有2个校区，均具备优越的地理位置和完善的教学设施。里尔校区是位于市中心，由于IESEG是里尔天主教大学的成员，学生可以享有大学城的所有公共设施，包括体育馆、图书馆、宿舍、食堂等等。里尔天主教大学呢是法国最大的私立学校，目前有48000多名学生。IESEG的28000平米的教学楼里呢，拥有会议室、计算机房、金融交易中心、图书馆、食堂等设施一应俱全，更设有企业孵化器，为学生的创新实践提供支持。巴黎校区呢，坐落于法国最大的 CBD 拉德芳斯核心地带。有人把拉德芳斯呢比喻成上海的陆家嘴，有3600多名企业坐落在这里。这样的地理优势呢，为IESEG学生与企业互动提供了非常方便的条件，也帮助学生呢很快的拓展社交人脉。IESEG的23000平的教学楼呢，这种现代化空间配备多个这种现代化的教育设施，例如这个行为实验室、知识学习中心等特色设施，让学生能够近距离的感受国际商务氛围。IESEG 呢，一共有3个项目，第一个是国际商务管理本科，这里呢包含了众多的专业，但是呢，专业不是入学选择，是在第2年进行选择的。第2个呢是管理与科学设计 （Bachelor in Management and Tech Design）。第3个是本硕连读的大学校精英项目，这也是法国一个特色项目，也就是独有的一个项目。它是入学之后就是要连读5年，直接获得硕士文凭，中间是没有本科文凭的。它这个是在国际的称呼是管理学硕士。那这个因为90%的学生呢都会选择我们这个第1个项目，就是Bachelor in International Business 这个项目。那我们在后面会更加详细解释这个介绍项目的细节。那在这里呢，我们简单说明一下后面这2个项目。Bachelor in Management and Tech Design 本科项目呢，是IESEG与法国排名第2的动画设计学院 Rebecca 合作的项目，学制为3年。第2年的第2学期呢，学生会在 Rebecca 的加拿大蒙特利尔校区完成学业，也就是说它有一个海外校园，大家呢在第2年的下学期都要去加拿大学习。此项目这个申请呢，作品集呢，目前不是强制的申请文件，只要您对这个项目比较感兴趣，就可以申请。那这个项目呢，是2个学校共同完成，也就是说，课程的内容呢，一半是管理学，一半是跟设计相关的。那接下来呢，我们看一下这个BIB 着重就是说 BIB 就是我们刚才说的国际商务管理硕士，国际商务管理本科这个项目呢，它这个课程结构。 因为呢，法国的商学院的教学目标呢是为企业培养未来的经理人和组织管理者，所以呢，他期待学生能在经济、商务、管理领域呢都学习到基础知识，掌握基本要领。在体验过程中呢，他这个学生也会发现自己的擅长、喜欢和目前的将来的这个职业发展目标。所以呢，学校只有在第2年才去选择自己的专业。那第1年呢，大家可以看到都是这个经济、商务、管理领域相关的一些基础课程，而且呢，这个第1学年结束后呢，还有一个实习。第2年呢，我们可以看到它是在第4个学期，那个学生会选择自己的专业方向。学校呢开设了会计、金融科技和可持续金融，市场营销、CRM 和数字化转型、创新创业和初创企业管理、人力资源管理、物流和供应链管理等专业。那法国呢，其实它专业的深入学习呢，还是要在研究生层次才会更深的去学习这个专业的。那大家可以看到，第3年的第1学期呢，每位学生都可以选择国外交换学习。学年的 top 10%的学生呢，还有机会被推荐去哈佛大学、宾夕法尼亚大学、牛津大学、伦敦政治经济大学呢去访问学习。最后1学期是实践学习。那即使学生不是 top 10%的学生，他也有机会去交换。我们全世界有342家这个合作院校，所以就是说每一位学生都可以选择到国外去交换的。那接下来呢，我们就看一下申请流程。这个 IESEG 的申请流程呢也比较简单，它是通过官网进行申请的。网申内容呢包括4个部分，有个人信息、学术信息、动机问题，还有在线的人机面试。所有的这个部分完成之后呢，就可以提交申请了。录取公布后呢，申请者一般有3周的考虑时间来做出决定。那我们每年会有8次申请季，下一次申请的 deadline 是2月2号，录取结果会在2月13号公布。那本科项目呢，学校会提供2类奖学金，早鸟奖学金和优秀学生奖学金。2个奖学金呢可以叠加在一起，最高可以达到35%的学费减免。奖学金呢不需要特殊申请，在录取审核的同时呢，学校就会考虑给予每个学生奖学金多少，在录取结果发放的时候一起公布。那这里是申请材料清单，也比较常规。那有高中成绩单，最后2年的在读证明和高中毕业证。因为就是你有就是已经毕业的学生是高中毕业证，那我们现在在读的学生就是在读证明就可以了。然后是英语成绩单。那如果学校呢可以开具是课程完全是用英语教学的，也可以免除这个英语成绩。在申请时呢，需要自主点击完成线上面试、一封推荐信，还有简历。在申请时呢，我们可以不提交 A-Level、IB 或者 AP 的成绩。法国呢是主要通过高中平时成绩来录取学生。如果你已经有了大考成绩呢，也可以提交，但是没有大考成绩呢，并不会影响学生的录取。学校发放的录取通知书都是最终的录取，我们是不发这个有条件录取的，所以不用太担心这个大考的问题。但是大考呢还是需要完成的，因为最后到法国需要有一个签证环节，这一块呢不是要提交这个大考成绩的。住宿方面呢，学校将为录取的学生提供学生公寓、私人住宅等多种选择，按先到先得的原则进行分配。里尔校区的月租房租呢，大概是500到800欧元左右。巴黎校区稍微贵一点，是在800到1200欧元。包含住宿在内的月均生活费呢，里尔大概在800到1400欧元。巴黎校区呢，这边在1200到1900欧元左右。现在欧元的汇率大概是8.2左右，折合人民币大概在6500到15000人民币之间。其实这个主要的差别呢，就是在公寓的花销上。那其实法国的这公寓的条件还是都不错的，学生的公寓都是单人单间的，而且带独立的卫生间和浴室。好的，
好的，
刚才我的这个讲解当中有没有遗漏的一些信息，或者你特别了解的一项？
好的，没有，您其实讲的蛮全面的，当然我只是个人有一些信息可能比较感兴趣一点。一个是我刚刚印象比较深刻的是您讲到了咱们的师资团队其实是来自很多不同的国家嘛，然后这个可能给同学们一个全球化的视野。咱们也讲到了说同学们其实也是来自于100多个国家，那我会比较感兴趣，咱们本科阶段的学生的话，比如在咱们里尔校区和巴黎校区，那可能国际生的来源基本上是哪些国家会多一些呢？
其实呢，这个里尔这个就是我们这个BIB 的这个项目啊，它
嗯
的学生构成呢，大概是有50%是法国学生。也
嗯。
就说，法国学生在项目还是占一半儿的学生这个数量，然后一半儿呢是国际学生。那国际学生呢，其实我们现在目前没有一个主要的国家目的地这个
哦，
来源。那我们其实在中国呢，也不多，大概每年都是在10个左右。也就是说，2个校区，因为这个项目呢是里尔和巴黎同时开设项目。也就是说，学生申请的时候，既可以申请里尔校区，也可以选择巴黎校区。但是他一旦选择这个校区，基本就是3年都在这一个校区来完成的。他不是说我今年在里尔，明年去巴黎这样这个可以自由转换的，这样不太好，因为整个学校的资源设施安排都是固定的。这样的，如果大批量的学生这样转换，其实会造成很大的麻烦的。
好的，
嗯。
其实您刚刚有提到说，咱们其实在录取的过程当中，主要看的是 internal grade，不一定需要大考成绩。那我比较想了解一下，咱们有没有说哪些课程可能是对于商学院来讲会觉得说比较看重的呢？
这个我们讲的就是高中时候我们一定要有数学课程，因为
嗯，
在这个我们说这个学商学嘛，那肯定要涉及到经济学、审计啊、统计啊、这个会计啊，它可能都跟数学有一定的关系。所以的话呢，学生要掌握这种最基本的这个数学基础，但是其实也不是要求你是数学学霸，但是就是说有一定的学习能力，就是大概在学校中等水平的这个数学成绩就 OK 的。
那您觉得像课外活动啊、动机吸引、推荐吸引，在咱们的录取过程当中影响会多吗？
这个呢是一个辅助作用，当然呢，就是说越优秀的学生，他获得奖学金是越多的。但如果学生呢说我的精力都在学习上，没有参加这些活动，也不会受影响的。它有点像 A level 体系，就是欧洲国家都是比较注重学习成绩的，所以学习成绩还是根本的。然后呢，这种课外呀，或者获奖啊，或者是体育活动，或者什么其他呢，这是个我们可以说叫锦上添花。学校会很鼓励这样的学生，我们也非常欣赏这样的学生，会给更多的奖学金，吸引他来学校读书。但如果这样的学生他的基本的学术课程分数如果特别低的话，就没有办法去用这些优势来弥补。
好的，那其实我们前面也问了很多的问题，那最后一个问题的话，那我可能会觉得有一些学生会比较担心，会比较关心说关于就业这个方面。那我不知道说，如果咱们的学生在咱们学校读完高商之后，如果想要考虑在法国本土就业的话，那这个可能会有什么要求，或者学校会帮他们提供什么帮助吗？
嗯，这也是非常实际的问题，很多家长、学生都会很关心啊。因为这个法国呢，目前还是一个非常 open 市场，就是说它没有任何就是移民这种限制，移民限制，所以就是说学生只要毕业了，他就可以就是只要他毕业了，找到工作就可以，这个办理这种工作签。一般这种工作呢签呢，就是他要求一个最低工资水平。大概是1.5倍的最低工资，那也就大概是2000多欧元。那我们毕业的学生现在薪资统计呢，大概都是在3万5、4万以上的这种年薪。所以就是说，毕业的工资呢，绝对是符合他们最低的这种工资要求的。所以就是，来法国留学，想留在当地工作，机会还是非常有的。再一个就是提醒，如果想在法国留学，最后留在法国工作的学生呢，他还是需要加强法语学习的，因为法语学习，他法语好呢，他的机会就更多一些。但是现在呢，在法国，我们现在刚才也说，中国其实有很多企业开始在法国投资了，包括我们现在毕业生有一些不太会法语的，他们还去这种京东啊、小米啊，还有这个 华为呀，他们这个巴黎都有他们这个就是欧洲的这个分公司，所以就是说还是有很多就业机会的。
好的，好的。那今天感谢张老师的时间，然后如果后续的话，您可以把它在那个放到最后一章，就是您的联系方式那个地方。那如果今后有同学对说对咱们学校有感兴趣的话，那我也会很建议说各位同学跟家长可以通过我们屏幕上的这个联系方式来联系我们的张老师，还有Mr. Marco。
好，非常感谢 Sherry 老师，那我们稍后保持联系。
好的，好的，好，
有问题随时跟我们联系。好，再见。
再见。
Students, parents, and community members to the YCYW webinar. I am Prachi Gupta, Careers and University Guidance Counselor at Yaocheng International School of Chongqing. It is my honor and pleasure to host today's YCYW webinar with Ms. Shelley DeVos. She's currently working with International Students Recruitment Office at the Erasmus University College in Netherlands. One of EUC student, Ms. Kenza, will also be joining us today to share her EUC experience. So over to you, Ms. Shelley. Please introduce yourself and share a brief introduction about studying in Netherlands and what a liberal arts and science program is.
Okay, thank you, Prachi. We're very grateful to be able to be here and to have this conversation. Let me start off by explaining a little bit about studying in the Netherlands. It means joining a very international and open education system. In the Netherlands, English is spoken everywhere. Tuition fees are lower than in most English-speaking countries, and students study in a global and welcoming environment. Dutch universities also focus strongly on critical thinking, independence, and collaboration. To explain a little bit more about university colleges, they are pretty unique liberal arts and sciences honors programs within Dutch research universities, and they offer small-scale, fully English-taught interdisciplinary approach for curious and motivated students who want to explore different fields before really choosing one direction. You work closely with academic advisors to build your own curriculum across different disciplines, and it's ideal for students who are curious, broad-minded, and who want a flexible, personalized approach to their degree. And one of those students is Kenza. Kenza, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, I'm Kenza. I'm an EUC student. I'm a second year now, a neuroscience major, and today I'll be here to tell you guys more about my experience at EUC.
Great. Thank you, Kenza. Thank you, Shelley. So moving on to more questions. My first question is more about the unique programs. So what makes Erasmus University College college's liberal arts and science curriculum unique compared to other Dutch university colleges? And are there any distinctive tracks, minors, or interdisciplinary opportunities that students particularly value?
Yes. So what makes EUC really unique is that it combines the flexibility of a liberal arts program with a strong academic depth through a major. So students can design their own path across 12 majors in a discipline such as humanities, social sciences, life sciences, and economics and business. And the classes are small and interactive, and students get a lot of support from our academic advisors to help shape their curriculum and explore different interests. One of our really key features is problem-based learning, or PBL. It runs throughout our whole program, and it is a very hands-on way of learning. Students work in small groups on real-world problems, and they research independently, and then they come back to apply what they've learned. So after 3 years of this, students really become very confident, skilled problem solvers, and are able to analyze and tackle complex challenges very efficiently. Another aspect is the integration with our main university, Erasmus University Rotterdam, specifically in the fields of economics and business and our pre-med majors. I really want to touch upon these a little bit deeper. So for business students, many courses are aligned with the Erasmus School of Economics and Rotterdam School of Management. Those are two of the top schools in Europe. And this gives students the best of both worlds. So on the one side, they have the broad liberal arts and sciences experience, but I also have access to high-level business and economic content. And it also lets students take minors at RSM or EUC, or it makes them move easily to a master's program later on when they graduate. Then for students who are interested in medicine, the pre-med track that we have, the pre-med major, gives a strong life sciences foundation and prepares students for further medical study, either at Erasmus Medical Center, which is also a top medical center in Europe, or abroad. And then finally, for the creative minds, you can join our RASL program. It's called Rotterdam Arts and Sciences Lab. And this is a 5-year double degree in collaboration with Codarts, which is a conservatory in Rotterdam, and Willem de Koning Academy, which is an art school in Rotterdam. And students can combine their science study with a degree in music, fine arts, design, or fashion. And they graduate with 2 degrees for the cost of only 1. And it's a unique way to pursue both intellectual and creative passions at the same time.
Yeah, well, I think EUC has a lot of unique things in itself as part of the school. For example, we have our Engaged Citizen program, which is a year-long program that you can do. I'm pretty sure in your second year, which basically gives you, it's an extracurricular program, which allows you to, get more engaged in society and learn how to do that. Out of this program actually came the organization EUC Takes Part, which is a student-led organization that gives students volunteering opportunities in Rotterdam. I took part in a lot of volunteering opportunities last year, so I cooked, I gardened, and it was really, really fun. Aside from that, I think UC, yeah, obviously has a lot of unique academic opportunities. For instance, as part of your minor, I know for my department, so life sciences, we have minors that will offer you internships at the EMC, so at the hospital that we have here. So you get to actually work in a lab, which I think is really, really cool. And yeah, I think that's what makes UC a very unique school with a lot of opportunities.
I think my second question is pretty similar. So you can answer the second half, which is these special opportunities, all these research projects and internships, collaborations and study abroad, opportunities that you've talked about. Are they most popular? What is most popular among the EUCU students, and how do these shape their academic and personal development? Can you give us some insights on that?
I think one of the increasingly popular things that we offer at EUC is the exchange program in the 3rd year. We're really seeing a growth in students wanting to go on that exchange. We have a lot of exchange opportunities worldwide. So it means students can go to North America, they can go to Asia, they can stay within Europe, where they have opportunities to go to different countries. But they can also stay in the Netherlands and do a minor. So that's also an option. To give you an example, we don't offer data science, for instance, at our own university, but we do have connections with other universities in the Netherlands who do. So then students can do a minor in data science at a different university. So those are really, gives them a lot of flexibility to really choose and put together their program. So that's a great opportunity, I believe. Another thing that we can say is that while we don't offer internships, what often happens is that students have such connections with the academic staff that they have opportunities to ask them to help find internships. I know there have been students who have internships at the Rotterdam Zoo, for instance, where they could do for life sciences some projects at the zoo with animals. There's also been opportunities at the EMC with an internship that took place in the UK to do some lab work there. So there's a lot of opportunities, but the most important thing I would say is that the students need to take the initiative. Once you show your initiative, a lot can happen.
Shelley, you spoke about PBL earlier, and my next question is on that. So how exactly does problem-based learning work at EUC on a day-to-day basis, and what kind of support do students receive to adapt to this teaching style, especially in their first year?
Yeah, so like I said, PBL is at the heart of everything we do here at EUC. Students work in very small groups on real problems. Each week, the student decides what they need to learn, they research it on their own, and then they come back to discuss their findings and apply solutions. Students also take roles like chair and scribe to keep the discussion organized and to involve everyone. But simultaneously, that also builds leadership and teamwork skills. In each group, there's a tutor who acts as a guide rather than a lecturer. So they help students to stay on track and ask probing questions. They give feedback, but they don't give the answers. So they don't just send the students all the information. Students really need to do a lot themselves. And this encourages students to think independently and develop their own solutions. And in the first year, students get a lot of support. So there's tutorials, there's workshops, and there's guidance from students and academic advisors. And the idea is to help students think more independently, learn to collaborate, approach problems creatively. And most students say that after a few weeks, this way of learning really becomes their second nature. And by the end of their 3 years here, they've become very confident and skilled problem solvers. Kenza, what's your experience with problem-based learning? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, well, I really, really enjoy problem-based learning. I think, as you mentioned, it's just so interesting to work with actual like real world problems, and then you don't just get the answers, like you actually have to research it yourself. I think maybe a good example, last year in a neuroscience course that I had, we were talking about phantom limb sensations. And so that was kind of our real world problem. And then it was, okay, you now have to go out, research, how does sensation work? How does this work? How does that work? And so I don't know, it makes me feel like a researcher, to be honest, that I get to just go out, explore, find all the answers on my own. And then you come back to class and then you discuss with everyone and then yeah, see what everyone has. And I think a big advantage of PBLs is also that you kind of do all the work like together. So you obviously research on your own, but for example, if there's something that I don't really understand, there's always room in class to ask other students like, hey, do you understand this? Could you explain this to me? Or the tutor, if it no one really gets it. Like there's always some kind of support system for if you don't get it. Even though you do your own research, people are always there to help you.
Thank you, Kenza. I think it's really insightful to hear a student perspective on practicalities of how this really happens. So thank you so much for sharing. My next question is on admissions requirement and profiling. So what academic profile and non-academic qualities, such as, extracurriculars, motivation letter, interview performance, does EUC look for in a competitive applicant? And how much weight does each of these components carry in the final admission decision? Shelley.
Yeah, so yes. So for admissions, we take a holistic process. So we look at both academics and personal qualities. Strong grades are essential, especially when it comes to math and English, because the courses are challenging and they are interdisciplinary. So math is an important factor because of that. And English is, of course, important because the whole program is taught in English. So those both need to be relatively strong. Besides that, we look at the student's average grade, so overall, and those are the important factors. So an overall grade, math specifically, and English specifically. That's the most important part. It really depends on your diploma. So I would always recommend students to look at our websites for their specific diploma type to see what is required in points or in grades or that kind of thing. But the main credentials are overall grade, math, and English. Besides that, we also care about motivation and engagement. So we want students who are curious, thoughtful, and who are able to contribute to a small international community, because that's what we are. And that's why our motivation letter and later on the interview matter just as much as your grades. So we want to see in your motivation letter, for instance, what are your extracurriculars? Have you been volunteering? Do you work on specific projects that show your initiative? Or do you do sports? And also explain why you do these things. Why are they important to you? We really want to see who you are as a person and if that is a match and a fit for our small community. So that's the motivation letter. Then if your grades and your motivation letter seem to be doing great, you will be invited for an interview. And that interview is online, and it takes place with a staff member and a student. We involve our students in this process as well. And what we really want to see in that interview is if you understand which program you're applying to, so the liberal arts approach. And also, we want to understand that you are a curious student. So if you ask a lot of questions, we can tell that, oh yeah, this is a person who is really curious and wants to know more. So it's really about the full profile and not just the numbers. Kenza, can you tell something about your motivation letter and maybe your interview?
Yeah, for sure. From what I remember, in my motivation letter, I really emphasized that I'm very interdisciplinary in how I think and also in the things I'm interested in. I really highlighted that I was very interested in biology and research, but that I also really enjoyed, for instance, like critical humanities, so more philosophy, and that I thought that UC would be the perfect opportunity for me to perfectly combine those things so I can, still do the two things that I love the most, basically. I actually remember from my interview at EUC that they specifically asked me about that, and that the tutor or the staff member that was interviewing me actually brought a book that was related to both biology and philosophy, and he recommended that book to me. And I do also remember asking questions at the interview to the student about like how EUC was, what surprised her, what she liked the most, and that kind of stuff. And I think what's just very important as an applicant is just to show that you're like enthusiastic, because I think EUC is a very active student environment. Students aren't very passive, like students are still very active, also in their academics, of course, but also in how they interact with the world, for instance, through volunteering or through setting up projects, or for instance, we also have a lot of committees that's more social life stuff, but students are very active in their committees to organize events and all that kind of stuff. So I do think it's very important that you show that you're an active student and that you want to interact with your environment and just make the best out of what you have, basically.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kenza and Shelley. Shelley, we have a couple of minutes and I've got two important questions. So we'll go through them quickly. So my first or second last question is about admissions. Could you walk us through the admission timeline from an application submission to receiving an offer? And are there any common mistakes or misconceptions that applicants should avoid?
Yeah, so the application starts in StudyLink. That's the national application platform here in the Netherlands. And then students complete their full application in our admissions portal. So you have to do both national and our personal one for our university. And once we have all the documents, we review them and we invite candidates who meet the requirements for an interview. And then after that interview, the applicants receive either a conditional offer or a rejection. And our regular deadline is 15th of January with a late deadline of 1st of May. And applying early is highly recommended. It gives you time to get all your documents in order, sort your visa if needed, and plan ahead. And some common mistakes we see are submitting very generic motivation letters or letting AI write your full application. And we can detect it, so be aware. Not uploading all documents at once. We need everything at once, so that's important. And relying on predicted grades. We do not accept predicted grades, so that's also not an important one.
Okay, so in that case, you will wait for the result to come out to make the offer. But the
Yes.
application will be submitted before early 15th Jan or late submission by 1st of May. But then when
Yes.
the result comes out, you take the results into consideration and then make the offers.
Yes.
And then even the interview process takes place after that.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. So my last question, which was kind of, you mentioned about the visa taking so much time. It's about a job visa and permanent residency. So for non-EU students, what are the typical options after graduation in terms of staying in the Netherlands? For example, the orientation visa, orientation year and the visa, and how do EUC graduates usually navigate the path from student visa to work visa to potentially actually getting permanent residency?
Yeah. So for non-EU students, one option after EUC is the orientation year visa, which gives you 1 whole year to stay in the Netherlands and look for a job without needing any sponsorships. And it gives you, if you then find a job during that year, you can switch to a work visa. So it makes it easier to stay long term. Many of our graduates also go straight into a master's program. So in the Netherlands, master's degrees can be 1 or 2 years, depending on the program and field, which means that some students could potentially earn both a bachelor and a master in just 4 years. And our graduates continue their studies usually either at Erasmus University, but also at other Dutch universities and sometimes even abroad. So in the case of a master's, you usually stay on a student visa during your master's, and then you can, after that master's, you can use the orientation year visa afterwards to start your career in the Netherlands. Another thing is that Erasmus University also offers free Dutch lessons, which helps students integrate and improve their job prospects. So that makes long-term residency more achievable.
Okay, then that's it for today. So thank you so much, Shelley, for sharing your valuable information, which you shared with so much transparency. I think it's really useful for our student and parent community. And thank you, Kenza, for sharing your insights and student perspective on practicalities and day-to-day life at EUC. So thank you very much and have a lovely day. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for engaging in that webinar and learning about all those 3 amazing different countries.
欢迎大家回来，希望大家在刚才的收看过程中，已经对3个国家的这3所非常有代表性的大学有了比较深入的了解。
If you have any questions, there's a chance for you to ask now in the chat functions, and Coco and I will answer.
那如果大家现在有什么问题的话，大家可以现在提出来，我和这样的话会在这儿为大家解答。
So I have a question here. Is it true that EU citizens can study in the Netherlands for very minor tuition fee?
那现在有一个问题就是，对于 EU 的欧洲的居民的话，如果他们能否，就是他们如果就读这个 EUC 这所大学的话，他们的学费会不会比较便宜？
Yeah. So actually, very much so. They probably Shelley didn't share, but usually on average, your tuition, if you're an EU citizen studying in the Netherlands, is €3,000 a year.
是这样子，就是如果你是欧盟的成员国的居民的话，那么你在这所大学入读的学费大概就是3000欧。
And then the residential, if you decide to live on campus, it's about €11,000 a year.
11000。
11000。
所以就是如果是住校的话，大概这个住宿费是在11000欧元。
If you're an international student, so if you're a student from a non-EU country, your tuition is usually around 13,000 to 15,000 euro a year.
国际生的话，那么你的学费大概是1年13000到15000欧元。
Yeah, so a very good deal to go to Europe, and then as you heard, also a lot of career opportunities in Europe.
所以其实去欧洲读书的话，其实从性价比方面来说还是非常好的，而且其实从这些学校毕业也有非常好的不错的就业前景。
I have another question that asks about work visa and then permanent residence in Europe.
另外一个问题是关于工作签和永久居留的，这么一个问题的。
So both in the Netherlands and in France and in Europe, they're all different, but all of them count all of them count your university life as part of your application for permanent residence in that country.
其实几个国家他们都就是会有一些不一样的，但是都会非常的，就是在申请永居的时候都会非常看重你们在大学本科的一些专业，还有你们的一些学习生活的经历。
And then also, so they will add your years of university in that country, and then if you work in that country together as part of your permanent residency requirements.
所以在申请永居的时候，他们会去审核，会看你在大学的，他会把大学就读的这个时间和你工作的一个时间相加，然后再来进行一个评估。
I have a couple of other questions. One very practical question. Will you share the presentation deck with us? Yes, we will. If you registered for the webinar through our link that we sent out. If you haven't, just go and register again. Yes, I have your information. I will send that presentation link to you.
我们会在这个直播结束之后，那么只要你们有注册，之前有注册这个webinar 的话，我们都会有你们的邮箱就可以将这个录播给发送给大家。如果你还没有注册的话，那么现在也可以进行注册，然后我们就是在会后会把这个发给大家。
I have another question. I have heard that housing in the Netherlands is really hard to find. Is that true?
就是荷兰的这个住宿是不是比较难找？这个是的。
Yeah. So like any place, it depends. So if you were to try to find housing in London, it would be difficult. So if you were trying to find housing in Amsterdam, but it also would be difficult.
对，就是所以和在其他的一些国家非常类似。那么比如说在伦敦你要去找住宿那也是比较难的。那么在阿姆斯特丹的话也会比较有一点点难。
But as an international student, actually, the university will provide services to help you find an apartment. You just have to make sure you check your email and register early. If you wait, yes, it will be difficult.
对，那么阿姆斯特丹的荷兰的这些学校，他们会帮助他们的国际生学生去找到这样住宿的一些提供这些住宿的一些信息和机会，所以大家一定要，如果是打算去荷兰留学，然后一定要关注大学申请给你们发来的邮件，那么要提前去注册和联系，那么他们会帮你就是联系和寻找住宿的机会。但如果就是你等到快要开学很晚的话，那么可能就会比较难。
We know that in 2022, there was sometimes in the Netherlands where there wasn't enough housing for international students, but actually the Netherlands have put policy in to start to change that.
那么是2022
年
之后就可能住宿会比较难吧，但是
容易
一些了。那么就是现在要容易一些了，那么所以它其实是有相关的政策来支持我们留学生的这个住宿的这个问题的解决的。
Coco, any parent questions from there? And if not, I think we're almost done. Yeah. Okay. So parents, thank you again for tuning into our webinar for Europe. We really appreciate you listening because we think Europe as a continent has an amazing set of opportunities for our students.
非常感谢大家今天晚上抽时间来观看收听我们的关于欧洲的这场讲座，然后大家的问题都非常的宝贵，然后对。
So as you heard from Bocconi and from IESEG and EUC, don't just think about the ranking of the overall university, but think about if your child wants to learn something specific, how those universities actually are very, very strong in those majors. They are very affordable in this very hard economic climate. And also in Europe, they are looking to employ more international talent.
那么就是在刚才的webinar 的三所大学，那么这3所大学其实大家就是可能如果是去看中排的话，那么可能就是会建议大家去看到不仅仅是中排以外的，而是这些学校大学他们在各自的比较相应的领域，他们是非常擅长的，然后并且他们也非常非常的在经济的性价比上也是非常高的。那么大家可以，而且给到学生的机会也是非常多的，所以就是大家可以可以多去关注更多的一些大学。
And we are looking forward for you to join us. Actually, we hope that you join us in March, where we will actually share with you about universities in South Korea. Especially many of our families want their children to stay within Asia. Some great English instructional programs that are fantastic within South Korea that allows for students to be able to work in the future in one of the rising industries in Asia.
我们下一期的这个访谈的话是会着眼于韩国的一些英语授课项目和大学的这个介绍，因为就是其实韩国也有一些很不错的、非常知名的、优秀的大学，他们他们会给国际生开设英语授课项目。
So we look forward and we hope to see you again in March when we learn about the new amazing opportunities in South Korea. Until then, Happy New Year and Happy Year of the Horse.
那么就期待3月跟大家相见，然后祝大家新年快乐，除夕快乐。
好，新年快乐，拜拜，新年快乐。